Yo, I'm Brendan. 4 years ago, I started investing with Acorns with just $25. Since then, my account value has really drastically changed from a peak of over $30,000 down to where it sits today around $3,000. So today I'll give you a comprehensive review of Acorns from over 4 years of use, including the features, the problems, the reason that the account balance went up and down, and finally a score from my investing app Spreadsheet. So we'll give it a rating and see exactly if it's worth using or if we shouldn't use it anymore. The whole reason why we use a service like Acorns is because without it, our money is dead. Like this tree. It's stagnant. It's silent. Never growing, never moving, never changing. If anything, it's a negative thing and it's going backwards because the world around it continues to grow and change, but the dead tree stays stagnant. This is the botanical equivalent of our cash. When we only have cash, when it's not invested, it's stuck here, frozen in this form forever, and it will never grow larger. It will never yield fruit for us to enjoy. With Acorns, our money has a chance to grow because we plant it in the stock market. We invest it in these companies that are constantly trying to grow and make more money and be more profitable and take over more of whatever their market is that they're in. And we get to be a part of that here in a really simple way. Now our money is like little seeds that we've planted in the ground and are being watered by all these companies that we're investing in. And so we have a chance of actually experiencing some growth this way. And that's why I first started looking at Acorns over 4 years ago. At that time, my wife and I were heavily saving for investments and for the future. And my sister texted me one day and said, hey, what's the best kind of investing app that I can use that's really simple? I don't want to have to learn finance. I don't want to have to figure things out. I just want the app to do it for me. What's the one I should use? And that's when I went on this fact-finding mission to go, what's the easiest, best bang for your buck product that there is out there? And that's when I found Acorns. And I told my sister, hey, Acorns is actually a really good option for you. I think you should check that out. And at that time, I also deposited a whopping $25 in the account just to test it out myself too. So way back, January 27th, 2020, had $25.08 in here. Back then the service was simpler and there were less features, but it was also a lot cheaper because you could have an Acorns Lite account that was only $1 per month. That was really great for people because it basically felt free and it got you access to investing. But since then, for better or worse, there have been a lot of changes. For one thing, the pricing structure has gone up a lot. The cheapest you can even do with Acorns now is $3 per month. Then you might be up to $9 per month if you want more and more features. They added individual stock trading so you can pick a particular stock if you want that. Most recently, they added the Mighty Oak debit card and a high yield savings account that earns us more money on our cash, which is a useful thing whenever you want to use kind of one service to do everything for you. Cash, banking, investing, all in one. So it costs more than ever, but we're also getting more than ever. For $3 a month, you get the Acorns Personal Plan, which is the most minimal features and the cheapest possible way that you can invest with Acorns. And they just call it investing tools to get you started on your financial journey. So they say it's just investing tools, but you're also getting banking tools. First off, the investing side, you get an investment account with an expert-built diversified portfolio, which is true. You get kind of their headline feature, which is the ability to save and invest spare change with roundups. Think about roundups this way. It's just an easy way for us to invest more without having to feel the pain of investing. So what you do is you link your Acorns account with some other account, whatever you want it to be. It could be a credit card, debit card, some other bank account. And basically the last little bit of change that's at the end of whatever that transaction was, you can choose to have that amount rounded up to the nearest dollar and invest that spare change in your Acorns account. So let's say you buy something for $21.50. If you have that account linked with your Acorns account, Acorns will go, hey, you made a transaction happen here. That 50 cents that would round up that to the next dollar, we're going to withdraw 50 cents from the checking account that you have linked with us, and we're going to invest that for you. So over time, as you use the account, you'll slowly invest 50 cents here, $1 there, 25 cents here. And over time, you'll have a few more dollars invested than if you consciously had decided, okay, now I'm going to choose to invest $5 more this week, something like that. It's sort of a psychological hack on yourself to be able to invest more without really having to make the decision. It's like if you make a smoothie and you put spinach in it, you get the benefit of the spinach without having the pain of chewing the stuff up. And it's surprising to me that they haven't broken this out. But even on this base level, this $3 per month level of Acorns, you also get access to an IRA retirement account. If anything, by now I would have expected them to break that out and charge you extra for it, but they don't. So the really cool thing is that you actually get this initial account here that they just call an investing account. That's a taxable brokerage account. That one gives you all the flexibility and freedom. Not that much tax savings, but it gives you all the options in the world. But then you also get the option with the IRA to say, I want to lock away this other section of my money here and save it for when I'm 60. And that way you get more tax benefits. The money should be able to grow for longer because it's basically locked away. And so that money you can basically allocate for way down the road. And I really like the way this is structured because I think for most people, you need both a taxable brokerage account and an IRA or some other dedicated retirement account. It really benefits you to have both of these options, but you also get banking features. So for $3 a month, you get an Acorns checking account, and that can also be linked in part of that whole roundups equation. So it says right here in the next step, instantly invest spare change with real-time roundups. I think they're claiming that the roundups with their own banking account is a little faster than if you had like an external bank account attached to it. But either way, it's fairly quick. It's not a big difference if it takes 1 day or 2 days. But you can do roundups with that too. So you could have, I think, more than one account linked with roundups, if I remember correctly. You could have like your old bank account before you got Acorns, and you could have the Acorns both doing roundups for you. You could have multiple little sprinklings of seeds being planted in your investing account for you if you want. And then they have pretty standard banking features here. No overdraft fees. You have access to a bunch of ATMs, and you get a heavy metal Acorns Visa debit card. Let me find mine. I'll show you. Bag O cards. Here we go. Just look for the bright green ones. It's interesting. One of them, somehow I have two. I'm not sure why. One of them is the heavy metal one, which is pretty obviously metal. The other one is just like a chintzy, plasticky one. So apparently they're back on the heavy metal game. Pretty cool little design. There's a little bit of like a tree branch on there. You also get access to earning, which is part of this $3 account. I've just never been that big of a fan of this. I'm sure somebody out there uses it. I just don't think that it's a huge value add for most of us. It's kind of like a lot of these other shopping extensions where they've got 450 in-app partner brands to earn bonus investments with, plus this browser extension to get bonus investments with. It's like if you link all that stuff together, or if you shop through the app and you buy stuff from particular brands, then you can get a 3% bonus based on what you bought. But those kinds of things are kind of silly because it's like, well, if I have to spend $100 to get a 3% bonus, like it would only make sense if I was going to buy the $100 thing anyway from that company directly anyway. This is not something that's going to significantly grow our wealth. It's not something that's like a tremendous value add. It's maybe a little bit of a bonus every now and then if you're going to for sure spend the money anyway. Also, something that's odd to me, find a side hustle with Job Finder. I think Acorns is the only investing financial app that I use that has a built-in Job Finder. So interesting to me. And then lastly, the final feature of the $3 per month account is learning. So they basically have really short little videos and tips for investors if you want to learn more about financial concepts. You don't really need that because you're here with me right now, but it's an option for you. But that's just the start with Acorns because you can get even more if you want to pay a little bit more. The Acorns Personal Plus account is $5 per month, and you can level up your savings and investing skills with even more tools. On the investing side, nothing changes. You're not paying $2 a month more to unlock anything else unique on the investing side. Everything is the same. You still just get an investing account, which is a taxable brokerage account, and you get an IRA. And one thing to note with the IRA is you can pick if you want a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA. And if you're confused on the difference between a Roth and a traditional IRA, I'll link a video in the description that you can watch after this one that'll explain that for you. The reason that you would want to pay $5 per month over $3 is to unlock more banking features. So what you get with this is Mighty Oak Banking. This is the one that's associated with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. It's basically a better checking account and a better savings account. So if we compare the Mighty Oak Banking to the standard banking, the first few features are the same. Checking account, does real-time roundups, no overdraft fees, you get all the ATMs, all that's the same. The real difference comes down here in a tungsten metal debit card. Ooh. Plus you get an emergency fund. And the real headline feature here is the growth that you get on your money. So for right now, at time of filming, the checking account gets 3% interest. APY means the money that you're getting paid from a bank. If you think about the other APR, that's what you pay in terms of like your mortgage or your car loan or whatever. We like APY, we don't like APR. So a 3% APY on your checking is pretty amazing nowadays. Even today in the days of pretty high yield savings and checking accounts, that's high. That's great. Plus the emergency fund is 5% APY. So I think this account would be worth it for somebody if they've got some cash that they want to earn interest on. And of course, with the $5 account, you also get access to earning. The only real difference is that you get your bonus investments matched by Acorns. So if you're going to go and buy something anyway with one of these partner brands and you do it through Acorns, then you get a little bonus back. Let's say it's 3% or 5% or something. Acorns is then matching that bonus and giving you 25% more of it. So you get a little bit of a boost here, but not that much. I still feel the same about this that I felt about the $3 per month level. It's a fine little bonus if you were for sure going to spend the money anyway, but I wouldn't go here hunting for deals, if that makes sense. And the final feature of the $5 per month account is a little bit more in terms of learning, that if you want to jump into a live Q&A with investing experts, you can. I think I've seen some email reminders about this every now and then, but I'm not that interested in it. So I've never done them myself, but it's an option for you. And that's all the features for the $5 per month account. So you can think about the $3 per month account as the access to the bulk of what you really need. The $5 per month, you're essentially paying for better interest rates on your saved cash. And then the $9 per month account unlocks every single feature that Acorns has. So it's all the features from before plus more. Acorns Premium. Wow, and they give you the first month on us. That's pretty cool. And right here, the headline feature, you can see they point out the family element because you're going to unlock some family tools here. Let's go ahead and go over the features and see if we think that it's worth it. First off, on the investing side, the first 3 features are the same as the previous 2 accounts. These last 2 are the ones that you get whenever you're paying $9 per month. You get an investment account for kids, which is pretty cool. So for you, you would have 2 different investing accounts already. You would have your taxable brokerage account and you'd have your IRA with Acorns. If you wanted to, you don't have to open an IRA. Like for example, I don't have an IRA with them. I've been using them for 4 years. I never found a reason to open an IRA because I already have IRAs elsewhere. So don't think about this in terms of something you have to do. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to. But this investment account for kids is a third type of investing account you'd have through Acorns. So what this is a custodial account, and basically you're joint owners with the kid. So legally, you and the kid both own the account. When the kid's an adult, then they get the ownership passed on to them. So if you want to set up your kids for the future and have money invested for them, especially starting at a young age so it has time to grow, this is a cool option for you because they're legally protected. The difference between this and let's say you just used the first account and said, oh, this is little Jimmy's money. This taxable brokerage account, I'm setting aside this money, I'm earmarking it for him, it's going to be his. Well, the difference is it's not legally his. It's just money in an account that you think you will give him someday. But he has no legal protection. So if somebody comes in and there's a divorce that happens or some legal problem, or hey, you want to go buy a race car tomorrow, you can liquidate that account and there's no problem with that. Little Jimmy has a lot more protection with this custodial account that way because he's guaranteed to get that money. Now, Acorns has been offering this for years now. This isn't a particularly new feature. And I would say a few years ago, this was like the best way to start investing for your kids. Our oldest kid has a custodial account. So I opened one up, I put it in partially in their name, partially in our name, and I think we put like $1,000 in there. So that money is there and it's growing because that was kind of the best way to set your kids up for the future. Now, I really don't think this is the best way. And so in the next section of the video, I'm going to go over the features that I want Acorns to add in the future that I think that they're actually missing. And this is one of them, a better investing account for kids. But for now, let's finish going through the features of the $9 per month account. If you want to add individual stocks to your portfolio, you have to pay for this top tier of Acorns to get access to that. And the interesting thing about this that I don't think really makes sense is that they limit you to a particular set of stocks. You can't access like the whole stock market or even the whole S&P 500. There's only a very few select stocks that you can actually pick from if you want to add individual stocks. So this is kind of a tricky thing to me. If you're the kind of person that wants to add an individual stock, yeah, maybe you want to pick from their list because there's some big names in there, some recognizable stuff. But I also feel like there's probably a lot of people out there, correct me if I'm wrong, you probably have a different stock in mind that you want to invest with. And so maybe you sign up for Acorns Premium thinking that you'll have access to all the stocks because that's a very normal thing for an investing brokerage company like Acorns to say, hey, invest in the stock market. Here it all is. But Acorns isn't doing that. They're limiting you to a very, very select few. So I feel like that's a little bit deceptive. I wish that they had something in here that said add selected individual stocks or add from our list of individual stocks, because I think that's going to be a sticking point for a lot of people who think that they can do all this other stuff they wanted to retirement-wise and investing-wise and setting their kids up, and then they also wanted to play with individual stocks. Well, you really can't. That's a bummer. And I think it's a mistake on Acorns' part. In terms of banking, the $9 per month features are exactly the same as the $5 per month features. You still get a checking account. You still get roundups. You get the super snazzy Mighty Oak tungsten metal debit card that Dwayne Johnson is part of, and you get access to the emergency fund. So you're getting the same 3 and 5% APY that you would with a $5 per month account. That's something else that I'm going to include in my list of changes in the next section here. I wish this was structured a little bit differently. And the earning features with the $9 per month tier are almost exactly the same as they are with the $5 per month tier. The only difference is that bonus you get, that match from Acorns, is up to 50% now. So with this one, you get double the match that you do at the $5 per month level, but it's still only 50% of the total match. So as an example here on the phone, you can see that like if you went and bought a Udemy course, instead of you getting a 5% bonus just for the base level of Acorns, you get now, because I'm paying for the premium service, a 7.5% bonus. So you see how the bonus has gone up by 50%. They give you a little bit more on top of it. The same thing with Walmart. Instead of a 1% invested bonus, you get a 1.5% bonus. So it's definitely helpful and it's definitely more than nothing, but it's still not that compelling to me. This is yet another change I think needs to be made, and I'll go over that here in the next section. I think that this needs to be a lot more appealing for me to think about using the earning service. And then you do actually get something new with the learning at the $9 per month tier. You get the same videos and tips that you would with the $5 per month tier, and you get the same live Q&As, but you also get educational courses. Now, initially, this was really exciting for me because I was like, hey, I want to learn some more stuff. I'll take some courses. I also made an investing course. So I thought, hey, let's compare the kind of stuff that I've put in my course that's almost 4 hours long to their courses, because it's got to be pretty substantial stuff. Whenever you open up the app and you see this, the courses are 4 minutes long, 6 minutes long, 5 minutes long, 3 minutes long. It's not a course. It's like a little short video. If I want a course, I want it to be in depth, man. Break some stuff down. Show me everything. So that's kind of a lame thing in terms of this learning tier. I don't really think that you paying $9 per month gets you anything worthwhile. But the $9 per month tier is not all disappointment, because you actually get 2 more features that are totally unique to only this tier. The first one is banking for kids, and they're calling this Go Henry by Acorns. Basically, what that means is they bought a company called Go Henry. So Go Henry was a previously existing company that was a debit card, like a checking account for kids and for teens. Acorns said, oh, we want that. Instead of us developing it, we will buy you, and you will now become part of Acorns. So it's an easy way for them to add that feature. Kids can pick from over 45 different debit card designs, and some of them are really cool, but you got to like pay extra for the design. So sorry, little Johnny. Maybe you got to mow a couple extra lawns to pay for a cool debit card design. Otherwise, the card's just like a standard red card. See, it looks just like that. I got one as kind of a test. I filled out enough of the application to get a card so I could see what it looks like and try and use the account. But technically, our kids aren't old enough to use the account yet. I did make a whole video about Go Henry for Acorns, and so that's also linked in the description in case you want to really dive into that and get all the features. But an overview is that you can technically set up chores and track how the kids are doing with their chores, and then also either like pay them for that or give them an automated allowance. So instead of you, let's say, issuing them one of your own debit cards and saying, hey, let me give you a copy of my card with all the access to all of our money, let me just give you your own little account over here. I think there's 3 big benefits to that. Number 1, the kid gets to feel like they have their own account. And so hopefully there's a little bit more ownership for them. There's a little bit more control, and they understand that this is practice for real life. Like later on, then they'll have their own account. So this really sets them up to feel the same way that they're going to feel later on in life with their own account. Number 2, it gives you a lot of parental controls. There's a lot of like spending notifications, and you can set up limits here and there, and you can really like tailor this to the way you want it to be. So if you like to have a lot of control or a lot of like oversight to what your kids are spending their money on, this is really great for you. And the third benefit is just that the kids aren't messing up your accounts. This is what I would not want to have happen for us, because I'm like, hey man, our accounts are doing the things we want them to do. We understand that it's just mom and I that spend the money. I don't want to dirty the water with your spending. Like if you want to go buy some candy at Target or whatever, like that's on you. I don't want to have that be like part of our accounting, if you will. I look forward to using something like this in the future. For now, I have like an Excel spreadsheet, and the kids have a few dollars to their name, so it's not a big deal. But when they're old enough and potentially get an allowance or do chores for a commission, this could be really cool. And then in theory, if the kids wanted to either use your phone or if they have a phone, there are award-winning videos. I don't know who's giving them awards, but apparently their videos have won awards that teach their kids about money. And there's also quizzes that teach kids about money. So in theory, you could partially outsource what your kids are learning about money so that you don't have to do it. Or it's kind of nice when there's like another voice who says the same thing as your voice so that the kid actually hears it from somebody else. Because I feel like that probably happens a lot, where maybe you tell your kids like, hey, you should be thinking about saving for the future, and you should think about investing, and you shouldn't spend it all, and yada, yada, yada. And your kid's probably like,
yeah, whatever, Dad. I'm going to do what I want. I need more Sour Patch Kids.
And so this way, if they hear it from somebody else, maybe it'll actually resonate, because they'll be like, oh yeah, my dad told me that. That's probably true. This video also told me that. And the little money quizzes and things that the kids can learn, you can also incentivize them to do it. And so if they go through and they take the quizzes and watch the videos and all that stuff, you can actually pay them to do that. So maybe that's one of those things that we shouldn't have to do. But in reality, the kid's going to be more motivated to go through it if they can get paid for it. So I'm down to do that. Like in the future, if I had an Olivia and she wanted to earn $1 per mission, I'd be like, yeah, let's do it. I'll pay you $1 to watch this video. So if you have kids that are of the age where they're starting to manage their own money, or you want to teach them how to do that, then this could be a good feature for you. The final group of premium only benefits you get are $10,000 in life insurance for eligible customers. I'm sure not everyone can do it. I personally have term life insurance, which is pretty cheap anyway, but the fact that maybe you're buying the premium benefits for the other reasons and you also happen to get 10 grand more in life insurance could be really great. In case something happens, life insurance is really important. And speaking of, if something happens, a no-cost will to help plan for your family's future. This is something that my wife and I talked about a couple years ago. We started to work through with a lawyer. We never actually finished it out because there's just a lot of little decisions to be made. I still need to do this. This needs to be a future video that I make for you where we go through this. If this is easier, then I would love that. And that's all the premium only benefits. So you can see the list of premium benefits is quite a bit longer than the list of the other benefits. There are a lot of appealing features here. I also just want to see more changes in the future. So next, let's talk about all the changes that I think Acorns needs to make in the future to stay relevant and to stay appealing. Because if they don't make these kinds of changes, they're not going to be attracting new customers. They're not going to be keeping as many old customers like us. So I actually have 7 recommendations for Acorns here. I don't know that they'll ever see this video, but between you and me, this is what I think needs to happen. Number 1, do not change the flat fees. I feel like there's a possibility in the future that Acorns switches to something more like a Wealthfront model, or like some of these other investing services model, where they actually charge you a percentage of the assets you have under management. What that means is instead of paying a flat fee of $3, $5, or $9 per month, you'll have to pay a percentage of all the money that you have invested with them. So right now with a flat fee with Acorns, let's say you're paying $3 per month. If they started charging 0.25% instead of that flat fee, once you have over $14,400 invested, you're paying more in fees. And then the same is true for these other ones. For $5 per month, if they started charging, let's say, a 0.25% percentage fee instead of that flat fee, once you crested $24,000 in the account, you'd be paying more. At $9 per month, if they change that over to a percentage fee of, let's say, 0.25, once you crested $43,000 in the account, you'd be paying more. And so a low percentage fee like this seems really appealing whenever you have a low account balance. If you have $5,000 or $10,000 in there, you'd actually save money based on the percentage fee. But once you get over these different limits for these different tiers of Acorns, basically, you'll end up paying more. How much more? Let me show you. So let's say you're currently investing with Acorns at a $3 per month tier, at the base level tier. Instead of paying $3 per month, what if they switched over to 0.25% fees? If you had $30,000 invested, you'd be paying $75 per year in fees. Doesn't sound too bad, right? If you had $60,000 invested, you'd be paying $150. Or if you had $90,000, you'd be paying $225 per year. Now, the current fees, of course, are $3 per month. So it's $36 per year for all of those. So you can see the difference whenever we start investing more and more money, the difference just grows and grows. When you've got 30 grand invested, you end up paying $39 more per year. At 60 grand, you're paying $114 more per year. At 90,000, you're paying $189 more per year. So that change just keeps going up, and you get more and more hosed because they're taking a percentage of your money instead of a flat fee. If you got really crazy and you invested 500 grand in here and you were paying $3 per month, that's a super low fee. Because if you were paying 0.25% instead, you'd be paying $1,200 a year. That's $1,214 more per year if they were charging a percentage fee versus a flat fee. So I think this is a really important value add that they keep a flat fee. Otherwise, we're not going to want to invest more and more with Acorns because we're going to get hosed. So right now, the flat fee is a feature, not actually a big flaw, despite some people not liking the fee. That was something that Acorns needs to not change. The other 6 things here are all things that I think do need to change. The next one is that they should add a custodial account, the one that they currently only have at that $9 per month tier, the investing account for kids. They should move that down to the $5 per month tier. Otherwise, I feel like that $5 per month tier is just not that appealing. I get that it's nice to have a tungsten metal card, the Mighty Oak card, and to earn a little bit more interest on the banking side. But really, they need to have more features there that justify that tier's existence. Otherwise, maybe just eliminate the tier altogether. Have a basic $3 per month tier and have a $9 per month tier. But right now, the way it sits, I don't think the $5 per month tier is that appealing. I would move the custodial accounts down to the $5 per month tier. Then my next change would be to actually add a new kind of investing accounts for kids at the $9 per month tier. So for $9 per month, I want everything, including the custodial account. Plus, I want a 529 college savings plan for kids. A few minutes ago, I mentioned that a custodial account used to be the best way to invest for kids. Now it's really not. A 529 college savings plan just had a big revision made to it, to where in the past it was like, ah man, it's only for college. What if the kid doesn't go to college? Maybe it's not worth it. Well, now it's totally different, because if your kid's money that's in a 529 college savings plan doesn't end up getting used for college, or there's just extra or whatever, you can roll that over into an IRA for the kid. So a 529 college savings plan is really a college savings plan and a retirement plan in one. It is so much more flexible now. It's so much more powerful to have a 529 for your kids because it has that dual nature. It's like, it doesn't matter if the kid's going to college or not. It doesn't matter if the kid has a learning disability. You're really not sure if they're going to want to go to college or not. Put the money in the savings plan. You can use it for educational expenses outside of just college also, by the way. So that's really nice. Maybe you need it for high school expenses or whatever. You can look that up and see the details of exactly what you can use it for. But it's an educational savings plan, not just for college. If they do go to college, great. There's money in there for them. Use it. If they don't go to college, great. Roll it over. Put it into an IRA for them. Now they've got a retirement account that's off and running. And the real hack there is that a kid can't have an IRA unless they have earned income. So you've got to legally prove that the kid has earned income in a legitimate way, not just mom and dad gave him $5 for mowing the lawn. Then they're allowed to open an IRA. So this way, if Acorns added a 529 college savings plan to the $9 per month tier, you would have this way to set up your kids for retirement that is such a powerful tool. They've got to add this. All right, enough on kids. Let's talk back to adults and adult problems. Change number 4 that Acorns needs to make is a higher checking and savings APY for that top tier, for the $9 per month tier. As it sits right now, the APYs you get for the middle and the highest tier of Acorns membership is the same. Totally fine. 3% and 5% are good. But if I'm paying the most, I want to get the most. So let's keep the 3 and 5% respectively for the $5 per month tier, for the middle tier. And then if I'm paying the most, if I'm paying $9 per month, I want an extra 0.5%, man. I want 3.5% and 5.5%. I want you to push the limit for me, because odds are we're not going to bankrupt Acorns by having so much money in there that this extra 0.5% APY is going to make a big difference to their bottom line. But for me, it's a feature. It's another way that I can optimize. It's a little bit more cash for me, and that could push me over the limit to say, hey, it's not just that Acorns is matching other common interest rates out there. They're actually beating them. And so when Acorns has top features, not just matching features, now I'm incentivized to use that as my banking, my investing, my everything in one finance app. But as of right now, they're not doing that. So they need to dominate here. The 5th change Acorns needs to make is to unlock more individual stocks for that top $9 per month tier. I don't personally think we need to be investing in a lot of individual stocks, but honestly, right now, the feature is kind of a joke. Why would anybody pick from 40 individual stocks with Acorns when they could go invest with Robinhood or M1 Finance or anybody else out there and pick from all of the stocks? It's just a silly tease. It's like if you went to your favorite burrito joint and you were like, ooh, what do I want today? Do I want a California burrito, carne asada burrito? Keep it simple with bean and cheese. Maybe I'll get a carne asada taco, whatever. And they're like, no, sorry. Today we only have quesadillas. What? I came here for carne asada, man. Yeah. Sorry. We've decided that all we have is quesadillas now. And you're like, well, why would I go here? I don't even want a quesadilla. I want something else. And you leave. Acorns, you need to sell more than just quesadillas. Change number 6 that Acorns needs to make is that the earning side of things. So that like feature at the bottom where you kind of shop through Acorns and you get that little earning bonus. The bonus should be truly doubling on each tier. And you might be saying, Brendan, it is doubling. Well, the first tier, when you go from the $3 per month level to $5, it only goes up by 25%. I want that to be 100% bonus. I want to double the bonus whenever I'm going from $3 a month to $5 a month, then double it again whenever I go from $5 a month to $9 a month. That way, I'm actually incentivized to go through Acorns to do my online shopping. Otherwise, it's just not enough of a difference. So in the end, the $9 per month matching would be 4 times the match of the $3 per month tier. I want to get 4 times the bonus because I'm shopping through your service. So instead of getting 3% back from Under Armour for buying a bunch of socks, I want to get 12% back. We have so many options nowadays in terms of shopping online. So many in-browser extensions that give us coupon codes or save us a percentage here and there. So many things you can get strictly through Amazon. Why would I disrupt the way I already shop and the way that I already know works to go through your kind of goofy service, Acorns, unless you make it worth my while? Incentivize us. Keep us here. I want that $9 per month tier to be absolutely dominant. I want it to be incredible. And it's just not yet. The 7th and final change that I want to see with Acorns is those courses. So if I'm paying $9 per month, if I'm going to keep everything within Acorns because you have so many other good features, I'm earning the most I can earn, I'm investing well, I get to pick from more stocks, I get to do all the things I want to do in one place, incentivize me to stay there in the app longer and increase my session time with legitimate courses. A 4-minute long video is not really a course. And if you need help, Acorns, with longer courses, give me a call. Why don't you incentivize people like me to build our courses within Acorns? I could make a 30-minute or hour-long course for you. Okay, it doesn't actually have to be me, but something that's a more in-depth course would actually be a feature. Right now, this is, again, it's a tease. It's a little bit of a joke. It's like the stock trading. Picking from 40 individual stocks isn't enough. A 4-minute long class isn't enough. All right, enough complaining. Now I'm going to show you my actual account here and show you what my experience has been like using the Acorns app. Something that I've always loved about the Acorns app is just how well organized it is, how well designed it is. It's incredibly, incredibly clear. I can see right off the bat, this top line feature is my investing accounts, what my total is there. This is what I want to see when I first jump in. I want to see a dashboard with all the numbers. Give it to me right away. Give it to me clearly. And that top feature, whenever you first get in, is your overall Acorns total. So that's investing, banking, everything all together, which I also like to see. Later is the name for their retirement accounts, which, like I said, I don't have with them. I have them elsewhere. But if I did, I want to see that right away. I still need to use the checking account more because the first 7 transactions, whenever you get the Mighty Oak debit card, you get roundups matched from Acorns. So you'll get like, what is that, $3 or $4 of free money from essentially using that debit card. So that's why I have a little bit of a balance in here. I don't typically use their checking service. I don't feel like I'm incentivized to use it enough, so I don't really. And then the emergency fund, it's a cheeky amount of money that I have in here. If you notice this, so $2,161 deposited in the emergency fund, earning 5% interest per year is $108 per year, and $9 per month equals $108 per year. So this is the amount of money that I need to keep within Acorns for it to pay for Acorns automatically. That's the way I think. I want it to be self-sustaining. It pays for itself. As long as I leave that cash in there, I'm getting Acorns for free. So you can see that there. It's not quite exact. I mean, it's close. The exact interest earned is almost $9 per month. I don't know why it's not $9 per month, but intricacies of finance apps. And something that's important to call out while we're talking about earning 5% on the emergency fund or earning 3% on your Mighty Oak checking account, those numbers change a lot. So right now, because interest rates are high, we're earning a high amount. Like 5% on savings is pretty good. Should be 5.5% if you're paying $9 per month, if you're asking me. So this is tied to things the government's controlling, to things that are happening in the wider market. It could change in 6 months or a year or 2 years from now and be drastically different. No, it's never going to go negative. It's never going to lose you money, but it's going to fluctuate. So just as long as you know that and you plan for it, you're good. And then the final feature that I'm really not using either is the early account to set up an account for your kids. I've already got 529s for each kid elsewhere, and I have a custodial account already set up elsewhere, so I really don't need it here. Oh, and one more thing. I almost forgot to share with you why my account only has 1/10 of what it once had in there. Let's go back through my investing history here and I'll show you the kind of trajectory we've been on. So my returns all time are actually minus 4% because I ended up withdrawing money kind of at a bad time. But I started out with Acorns way back when, early 2020, and I slowly worked up over time and contributed more and more money. And then really like in 2021, I was just falling in love with Acorns. And so it sort of became a primary investing vehicle for us. Like we had our 401ks at work and then we had Acorns. And so I was just contributing a ton of money to this. This wasn't all gains. Whenever you see a chart like this, it's a little bit deceptive because you're like, wow, you made a ton of money. I mean, there was stock market gains happening, but primarily this is all my contributions. So I was shoveling money into here and I was right there hovering around the $25,000 mark, peaking right here, February of last year, February 2023, right there just kissing $30,000. And then that was right about the time that Acorns had raised prices. They hadn't added a lot of new features. I had other accounts that I liked more, and we had some personal things come up in our home and some other things happening where I needed some cash. And so I went, you know what? I would rather tap into this money that we had invested that didn't have like a real specific purpose in mind so I can cover these things in our real life that we need. And it's part of the benefit of this particular kind of investing account. When you have a taxable brokerage account, you can put money in and take money out however you please. And I have a lot of people commenting like, well, what happens when you take money out? Do you have to get taxed on it or whatever? When the vast majority of this money was money I put in, there's nothing to tax me on. For me to put the money in there in the first place, I had already been taxed on my paycheck. So now when I put it in here, the only possible way I'd get taxed on it is if I'd had a gain, if it had gone up in value because it was invested in the stock market. And for me, because I had kind of poor timing here, I took money out when the stock market had actually gone down. And so I'm still negative 4%. So I definitely don't owe any taxes on this money. It's my money, free and clear, 100%. And that was a lot of the motive to use this kind of account was it gave us that flexibility. Had we put this money in our IRAs or in our 401ks or whatever, it would have been a lot harder to reach in terms of avoiding fees or avoiding taxes. And so if you're not sure about what's going to happen with your money for the next 5 years or so, I'd say either keep it in cash or put it in a taxable brokerage account. Don't lock it up into a retirement account because it's going to be a real pain to get it out without feeling that sting. Now it's time to give Acorns a score on my investing app spreadsheet and see how it stacks up. Is it great? Does it get a good score? Or does it fall short because of some of the faults that I've pointed out? I started using it way back in January of 2020, so it's been over 4 years. And the first category here is where Acorns actually does probably the worst, and that's cost. So the problem is that a flat fee in terms of fees is really the one you want. So it's good, but it also has an upfront fee to use. Something like M1 Finance gives you access to a lot more without charging you anything. Even Robinhood, through Robinhood Gold, gives you all the premium features with one low fee, where Acorns has these 3 tiers that charge you increasingly more and more, 3 times more than Robinhood Gold. It's really a different service with a different intended use case, with a different customer base than those others are, but it still doesn't get a maximum 20 out of 20 points here for cost because you are paying that fee. For ease of use, it gets a 20 out of 20. I really don't know how it could be any easier to use, and so it gets maximum points there. For features and services, it only gets a 16 out of 20. It has a lot of features and services, but it is still simplified compared to a lot of other investing services out there that have more features and give you more options. The design is incredibly thoughtful, incredibly helpful. You're not going to get lost in it. And so we get maximum points there, 10 out of 10. Beauty is also 10 out of 10. Maybe this is a silly category, but I feel like if something is beautiful and easy to use, you're more likely to use it. You're more likely to want to be there if it looks nice. For extra or paid services, it gets an 8 out of 10 because you are getting something for the cost. I wish that those things cost less. That's under the cost category here a little earlier. But as far as is it worth paying money to get more stuff, the stuff you get is pretty good. So it's an 8 out of 10. Then I have a category here for outright faults. This score would be a negative score if there was something wrong with it. I don't hate anything enough to give it minus points for something. Other apps I do. I do give negative points here fairly commonly, but for now with Acorns, it's just a 0 because there's no need to penalize it for anything. And then finally, an overall satisfaction score. So out of 10, is it really satisfying to use? Does it meet your needs when you come to the app and you feel satisfied when you leave? Almost. It's an 8 out of 10, which is pretty darn good. If it added more features, if it had a little bit less cost, if it did all the things that I wanted it to do in terms of fixing those 7 things I don't like, this could be higher, but still 8 out of 10 is pretty darn good. So that leaves us with a total of 86. Acorns has scored an 86 out of a possible 100%, and so that's a good score. I really appreciate what Acorns has done over the last 4 years to add more features, to add more things that people really want. They still have a little ways to go. There's still a lot of potential left in the service without them raising the rates anymore. Acorns, do not charge us any more money. But if they keep the cost the same and they keep adding features, I could even see this score going up at the end of this year or even next year when we reach 5 years. I think for most people, frankly, Acorns is worth using. I don't love that you got to pay money up front, but even a commission-free app or something that feels free is still costing us in the back end. It's still costing us in kind of secret, hidden ways. And so nothing is truly free, but in terms of investing services worth using that I feel comfortable recommending, Acorns is right up there near the top of the list. The most important thing with investing and with money is that we start making the right decisions as early as possible. It's like our trees. It's like the whole acorns analogy in the first place. The best time to plant a tree was 50 years ago. The second best time is today. So if you're not investing, if for some reason you've been waiting because you're not sure what to do or things are still unclear, the sooner you get started, the better. The sooner that investment interest starts growing, the more money you'll have. The sooner you start investing for your kids, the more their college they'll get paid for. Yeah, we can't rewind the clock and start investing 20 years ago when we maybe should have or wish we did. But we could still plant a tree today and enjoy its fruit in a few years when it finally starts to come. The fruit is still sweet. For a deeper dive into more Acorns topics, especially getting into the nitty-gritty of all the features, here's a playlist that I've made for you of all the Acorns videos that I've made in the past. And so you can pick one of those to watch next if you want to see all the details about something in particular. And if you haven't yet subscribed or liked the video, please do that now, and I'll see you next time. Bye.